Hey everyone, welcome to Otaku Talk. It's me, your boy, your host OD, and today we'll be reviewing and analyzing chapter 1090 of One Piece. If this is your first time on my channel or you've been here before, please do me a solid, like, share, and subscribe. It would mean the absolute world to me. For those of you that have, been active patrons of my YouTube, first of all, thank you. Appreciate you. You're the best. Second of all, not obviously, I guess you can't tell because of the backdrop, but I've moved into a new house, new location, so some things have changed, like a new setup. I'm gonna see what it looks like when I actually edit. As of right now, I don't really like it. I had to change my lens from the prime lens that makes everything look crispy to this lens, which I still hope looks pretty nice. I had to change my lighting around my camera, so things are a little bit weird. Also, you might hear some noises from like my roommates and other stuff like that. So we're just gonna try to get through it and whatnot. But like I said, chapter 1090 of One Piece, and without much further ado, let's get into the review.
頑張れそう頑張れ諦めないで口笛吹きさ歩き出そうよ Going now.
So we start off this chapter with my boy Luffy just big dicking it. He's on the Denden Mushi transponder, letting the Gorosei and Kizaru know, A, we got Egghead on lock. We know we're surrounded, but listen, we got York here. If you mess with us, we're gonna mess her up, so you better let us go. This is actually the second translation of the chapter that I read. I originally read the OP scans one, and now I just read the TCB scans, and obviously goes without saying the TCB scans are a little bit better. I love the wording they use, the word choices they use, how they try to fit in puns and whatnot. Um, I had a hard time reading the OP scans one, and I didn't want to do a review with that one just because I don't know, Luffy sounded like weird and off to me in that one. Like he sounded not quite like his character. Like, are you guys gonna withdraw your fleet? And like, I don't know, it kind of sounded like Luffy was like cunning, smart, intelligent, tactful and stuff. And now with like the act not the actual, but the TCB scans, I'm like, okay, it sounds much better. It's like, are y'all gonna go away, leave us alone? But like, okay, now we're using like language that sounds more like Luffy. So I was very, very happy to find out about that. So we have Luffy talking to the Gorosei, and the Gorosei are basically trying to keep Luffy on the phone to get him to feed them information. Luffy's a dumbass, so he doesn't know any better, right? And so he's about to give them information, but he's immediately cut off the phone by, we can only assume, Nico Robin, because we don't see who says it. But then when we go back to the Gorosei screen, the Gorosei was like, a woman's voice, that must be Nico Robin. Now, that's a little weird to me because there's another female on the crew and there's also Jory Bonnie there, but maybe for all intents and purposes he recognizes Nico Robin's voice for whatever reason, right? And so while that's going on, we get a nice little view of like the area that the Straw Hats are in, and we see pretty much all the Straw Hats. We see most of the majority of the Vegapunks. Edison is still alive, but it seems like it's confirmed that Pythagoras and Shaka are completely donezo. We see, I was about to call her Astro. We see the Wrath Vegapunk. I can't remember her name at the moment. The one that reminds me of Astro. She seems to be hard at work working on something. And I'm very, very curious as to what that could be. At first, I thought maybe she's trying to repair, the broken Vegapunks, but that wasn't the case. It could just simply be her trying to deactivate the protection dome, right? So it could be any one of those. So in the midst of that, somebody catches Rob Lucci talking to himself, muttering something, and they're like, "Hey, who are you talking to?" And Rob Lucci says nothing. And I immediately was like, "That's sus. This motherfucker is talking to someone." And later on in the chapter, it becomes obvious that yes, he is talking to someone. He's relaying information back to the Saint Saturn and Kizaru, and I'm assuming he has some kind of mini Denden Mushi or some kind of technology that enables him to do this. So I was really, really like, honestly, I'm kind of mad that no one really was like, no, that's not a good enough answer. You're Rob Lucci. You're definitely up to something. You're definitely up to, like, what's happening right now. No one checked him or anything like that. So I mean, like, we're surrounded by geniuses, and he's a, like, a CIA member, right? So like you would think that, like, we would check him, but I guess not. I guess that they're going along with the whole routine as if they're like hostage or whatnot. Like, we're working together against the Seraphim type thing. So I guess I don't want to say they've earned the Straw Hats' trust, but like they haven't earned their suspicion. And I just kind of think that, people like Luffy and Zoro and like the rest of them there are just kind of, confident and cocky enough. Like, if he does some shit, we'll shut it down. So, we see also that the various members of Cyberpol, and I'm not saying a specific number intentionally because I do believe that, Cyberpol 9 through 8 and like 5 and 6 and stuff visited Egghead at some point in the past. So we see that they're partying, that they're super happy, that they're jubilant, because I believe Usopp checks in with them down there. I believe he's able to communicate to them via Denden Mushi, and they're like, oh, it's one of the Straw Hats, and they're all excited, they're all happy. One of them's like, hey, like, don't do that, they're like the enemy, and they're like, they literally saved us, they literally fed us, like, I have no qualms beef with them. So honestly, I think that's kind of funny. I kind of fuck with that. So that was definitely interesting. But they make a request, and that's like, hey, like, thanks for everything you've done, but do you think there'd be any way you could put us in a different room than the freaking, like, death, murder, killing machines, referring to the Seraphim, right? And so we're told, nah, it's fine. They're in sea stone bubbles. It's a super hard, super durable material that's infused with sea energy, and so it's like like the most effective imprisonment for devil fruit users, right? So they're not going to be attacked or anything like that. Not gonna lie though, I just do not see this working out well. Also, I do not understand for the life of me of why you would the Mihawk Seraphim, S Shark or whatever. Or not S Shark, S Hawk, like right next, like why is his sword right there? Like, they kept him trapped in a jail cell with his sword. Granted, he's in a bubble, but like I don't really know about this. I don't really know about this. So so that's a little weird to me. I also like how you get a little bit more of the personalities of the Seraphim. Jinbei's just kind of sitting there pondering, which at first I thought I was gonna originally say he's doing the same. I was gonna say Jinbei and Kuma are just like chilling, but like for some reason Oda felt the need to give Jinbei like dot 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 ellipses and Kuma nothing. So in my opinion, I feel like just Jinbei Seraphim is like Jinbei, and he's smart, he's thinking, he's calculating. So that's what he's doing over there. Kuma's just like whatever, and he's just chilling. And then we have Mihawk Seraphim, which I'm really shocked about because I didn't think. I always thought he was like a cool, calm, stoic, sly character, and like his Mihawk Seraphim just kind of like upset, like, how dare you keep us here? I can't believe we're trapped in here. And then you have uh S Snake, who's just bubbly and full of personality, right? And Frankie thanks her for depetrifying them, and then we find out that Luffy came and like basically, those are my friends. I need you to like depetrify them now. And she fell in love and then did it. I have a problem with this. Okay. I know it's supposed to be funny. I know it's supposed to play off the fact that the real Boa Hancock loves Luffy, but in this moment, it conceptually does not make sense unless it's some kind of explanation where the DNA or lineage factor was taken from Boa Hancock after she was already infatuated with Luffy, and because of that, it's a situation where this Seraphim Hancock inherited her love of Luffy from the lineage factor. Maybe that's explained, but if we find out that the lineage factor DNA was taken, harvested pre her meeting with Luffy, I have some qualms with this because She doesn't just fall in love with Luffy. She's not just magically madly in love with Luffy out of nowhere. When they first meet, she has no qualms, no issues fucking Luffy up. She was gonna execute. The only reason that she fucks with Luffy is because um not only did he see the scar on her back and not tell anyone and not judge her and not treat her like lesser than or anything like that, but also defended her people. So kind of weird how like he really did not care for her people too much and was willing to like execute them ever. Defended her people, and then the most important thing to her was when he was fighting one of her sisters. I think the clothes on her back burn off or something like that, and it shows like the slave symbol, right? The sun symbol, or not the sun, but like the symbol of slavery, right? And so Luffy, knowing that, okay, this is something that's very, very important, taboo to her and the family, and they don't want them to see, I'm going to cover it up. And it was the culmination of all that stuff and witnessing like Luffy, like be caring, be like an amazing person that made Bo Hancock fall head over heels for him, not just like Luffy being Luffy himself. So I don't know how I feel about that. It's One Piece. I shouldn't take it too seriously. It's a gag, but that being said, it's kind of annoying. So anyway, like I said, Atlas. That's why I couldn't remember Atlas Astro. Atlas is working on trying to get the dome to come down, right? And York is just being a head ass, and she's like, "You're wasting your time. I put a password on it. You're never gonna figure it out. I never uploaded it to the what's it called? Punk Records, which by the way is one of three objectives that Saint Saturn is trying to get. Trying to get York, trying to get Punk Records, and he's trying to get the Mother Flame. So those are like the three things that he absolutely requires right. And so she's just bragging, boasting. Which, by the way, I don't get why they're just kind of letting her do this. Like, I don't get why like one of the like Straw Hats isn't just like pop, like popping her every time she gets smart. I did like earlier though. She was talking shit and saying that they were gonna do Egghead like they did O'Hara, and Nami hits the mess out of York, and I think she does that out of like no camaraderie with Robin because that was a really traumatic experience for Robin and for like York to talk so callously about it. Also, like Robin's injured and Chopper's treating her, so like. But anyway, because of that, they all just all the available Vegapunks are like, okay, we're just gonna hack it. Like three Vegapunks putting their mind together to like hack the system. Like they pretty much installed, made themselves. Like they're definitely going to be able to do it. So that's really cool. Also, unless Oda is playing like a Rick roll on us, confirmed our next destination is definitely Elbaf. Dr. Vegapunk calls Nami over, says you're the navigator, right? And says that the whatever the log pose, the triple log pose hasn't reset yet, but it is locked on one island to the northeast, which Vegapunk confirms is Elbath. Immediately, Usopp and Luffy are hyped. They've wanted to go to Elbath for a while. So like they're super excited to go. So basically, Vegapunk is working out the logistics of this. Like, okay, so we have the bubble dome going on right now. We're under siege. We're surrounded by ships. We're probably gonna have to go northeast. We're gonna have to get out from the back of the island. The only way I can think of doing that is if we have, the Vega Force One that's parked over by the Sunny Go. If we can have it pick it up and go out the back. The problem with that is the Vega Force One can only fly optimally or fly period. What's it called? Within the sphere of Egghead because of the air con, right? The air con system. So once they get past there, it's gonna crash. To which Frankie's like, no big deal. We can coop the burst for a kilometer after that, so that should be enough. Vegapunk obviously is interested in that, and he's like, yeah, it's powered by cola. And Vegapunk is like, cola? And I'm not gonna lie to you, I know this isn't that type of manga, this isn't Dr. Stone, but I really, 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 really loved it if Vegapunk was like, whoa, tell me more. Or like, why are you using cola? Or like, cola, that seems unheard of, unnecessary, or problematic, or like, huh, that seems really genius. Once again, I really want to get to a point where we talk about like energy use in One Piece because I heard a YouTuber talk about it, and ever since they talked about it, I have not been able to get it out of my mind. The fact that like there does not seem to be electricity in One Piece. Things do not run off electricity in One Piece, and we just kind of never noticed that. But like once you do notice that, you can't like unthink it. So I'm really curious about that. I'm also wondering if Vegapunk uses electricity to run Egghead in his lab too. That's something that we haven't yet talked about. So Dr. Vegapunk has Lilith escorted by Bonnie and Luffy go to the Vega Force One to go get the ship and I guess bring it back to them, right? While they're doing this, Lilith is super excited. She's like, I've never been off the island before. This is going to be awesome. Someone tells her it's not going to be a picnic. They start, obviously, Luffy and Bonnie are there. They start talking about food. Sanji comes up. Jory Bonnie is honestly kind of hype on Sanji. She's like a cook who can fight too. That's really awesome. And you know they're hyping Sanji. Like yeah, Sanji's really awesome. Also, they're like, hey, you're in a good mood. You were like crying all of yesterday, and like now you're all like smiles and giggles. So now I like and she's like, oh whatever, like it's okay now, and I don't have like beef with Vegapunk anymore. So now I'm like even more curious what the hell went on in that Kuma memory bubble, what she learned, what she saw, the reason for everything that happened. Also like if it made her not hate Vegapunk, I think it's even stupider now that like Vegapunk didn't want her to see the memories. So I don't. There's a lot going on. I know last episode, last video, I said something along the lines of, "Oh, definitely this chapter we're gonna get the flashback." Yeah, I was wrong. Yeah, all right, my bad. But like next chapter, definitely next. It's like I don't know, but we're gonna get a flashback. We have to get a flashback. So much happened, and we need to know what happened between then and now when they got rid of the seraphim. What happened with the memories and just everything else going on. So there's definitely got to be some closure hat. Anyway, we get to a really, really cool part of the chapter, and basically it's Kizaru talking to Saint Saturn, and Saint Saturn's like, "Listen, man, I want you to get on that goddamn island, get me York and everything I want, and destroy the goddamn Straw Hat Pirates." And Kizaru was like, "Well, that man's there, so it's gonna be like a bit of a problem." And Saint Saturn seems pissed, and he's like, "Are you shitting me right now? You're worried about Sentomaru? Fly over him." He's like, "Are you a fucking moron?" Like the way he reacts, you can tell like he's not fucking with Kizaru. Also, mad props to Kizaru because like Kizaru is talking to Saint Saturn on some like I'm not scared of you shit. Like obviously he respects him and like obeys his orders, but like I don't know, he upholds himself well. I just thought that was interesting to point out, right? And so he's like, I can't go over Sentomaru because one, that would disrespect the fact that he's stepping up to me and I gotta meet him. And I kind of like that aspect. I like that we're getting more out of Kizaru. I like that we're getting character and stuff out of Kizaru. So I like that aspect. He was like, yeah, no, he's stepping up to me. Let me show him what it is. The second thing, and I think this is the one that is most relevant to to Saint Saturn is, and also if I just go over him, he's gonna have all the passive feet and and all the weapons and what like take out all the boats and the like. Yeah, you don't want that because if I'm not here, how you gonna? I'm very curious because a lot of people thought that the Gorosei Saint Saturn was gonna be a combatant, and like I'm not hearing about him taking part in any of this. Also, why would Kizaru be worried about the the Kuma Pacifista and all the other weapon systems they have at their disposal attacking the ship if the Goros or whatever are at a level similar to the admirals. So let's just table that for now. All right, looks like my video has 4 minutes, so let's get. Um. So anyway, he charges at Sentomaru using his Yamato no, but his mirror move that he travels with, and Sentomaru sees him and he's like, "All right, let's get it, Unk," and he's like, "I have to warn you though, I have like the greatest defense or whatever," which honestly the temerity to say that literally like maybe like days after freaking Rob Lucci skewered your ass is super bold to me. I wouldn't be talking about this like super incredible durability when like this awakened CP0 member was able to get through it, and now you're against an admiral who is probably infinitely stronger. But who am I? Maybe he had some tricks up his sleeve. Maybe he wasn't properly prepared for Lucha or whatnot. So there's that. So anyway, we end off the chapter with Luffy looking super shook, freaked out, and a lot of people are using this as a demerit and calling like Luffy a fraud or a punk or whatnot. I think that's stupid. I think it's simply a matter of he recognize like especially with his new abilities, like his new increased concept of hockey and ability to utilize it and read it and stuff. I think it's just a matter of real recognize real, and he can see that like Kizaru is super powerful, and Kizaru is probably sending waves of like hockey and intent, killing intent, and whatever intent towards Sentomaru, and it's leaking all over the island, and Luffy's picking up on that. Do I think Luffy is like worried? Like, I don't. This is hard. I don't think Luffy is like worried or scared or shook. But I do think he recognizes that like, this is a legitimate threat and something to be cautious and anxious about. Anyway, I'm gonna leave the review there today. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I really appreciate it. Let me know what you thought about this chapter. Let me know what you thought about this series of chapters. Let me know what you think is gonna happen next. Um, and yeah, let me know if you think Kizaru is gonna turn out to be that guy or if he's gonna be a fraud. How we're gonna get off this island. We're gonna see the Straw Hats have other fights. And yeah, let me know if I missed anything important during this review. Anyway, this has been Otaku Talk. It's me, your boy, your host, OD. And make sure to like, share, and subscribe. Have a great weekend, guys. Take care. Peace.